You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Printfinity, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. The crew is in the building. Went off a dope weekend. My man Jay Moore, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I think I'm finally fully rested from this weekend's festivities, but I'm doing well.
Took me a while to come around, man. Sunday was nice and relaxed, but I'm back. I'm back now, I think. We'll see. Mm-hmm. My man Lonegevity, how are you, sir?
I am doing all right.
Someone texting you, distracting you at this moment,
Nothing
sir?
special, but I'm doing all right. And I was just our own notification.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that counts then.
Yeah.
Are you recovering from this weekend's festivities?
Yeah, I'm recovering.
Okay.
Not recovered.
Not recovered.
But
right.
I mean, my body's recovered. It always takes me, I mentioned this to you guys, it always takes me a while to emotionally recover from being around a lot of people.
There were a lot of people.
And there was a lot of people. It was a great day. Don't get twisted. But I am drained.
My man DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutations.
Everything good, brother?
Man, it's cool. Everything's cool.
Got your powers back, or
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much same sentiments as everybody else.
Okay.
15 hours on my feet, man.
Yeah, when
time.
When you pop out, when you're a little older.
Yeah.
You start getting to the wee hours of the night.
Yep.
Starts getting closer, and it's like, man, I just want to be home.
Throw in a lot of walking around and a lot of standing.
Yeah.
And all that.
We are definitely the old.
We are
part of old heads right now.
We're the old part for sure.
Listen, I had got a drink that day and took 2 sips of it. And it was like, I'm not going to drink anything else. I didn't even finish that drink.
I didn't have anything but water the entire day.
Yeah, after that, that's all I was on, water. I had 1 Red Bull because I walked to the store to get a Gatorade. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have any cold Gatorade. So I was like, I guess a sugar-free Monster would do.
You know what? Somebody, one of the Red Bull reps actually gave me a Red Bull and I didn't even drink it.
For real? Oh, for real?
Yeah, I was like, no, I don't want to be all jittery.
Shout out to you, though. And we talk about the Chreece Festival that was here in Indianapolis. Great turnout. Shout out to you and Metronome for having a multitude of water. Lots of water and on ice. Pretty good, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, okay.
We need a sponsor. You was talking about that. We should figure that out.
Sorry, maybe reach out to them. But they that Chreece brought the water out.
Okay.
Yeah. But
whoever needs the flowers.
Nick brought the cooler. I went over and got ice the first time. Nick went the second time, and then the third time they brought us a whole bunch of ice, like 7 bags. I was like, what are we gonna do with all these ice?
Yeah. I just looked around. I was like, where does all this ice come from?
Like, where can we put it?
That water came in handy though.
For sure.
Ashley was mad. It's like, see, you got it, guys. You're not even using the ice they gave you. Like, I didn't
where are we supposed to put it?
Yeah. There's not a cooler out here to keep the ice in while we out here.
No, I mean, you know what? I was worn out physically. Yeah. And it was a bit, mentally, from having to be around that. But you know what? I tell you what, the genuine love the podcast got from people that I didn't know.
Man, same.
I noticed it as well.
People coming up and saying, hey, I really appreciate what you guys do. Who, like, they just recognize my face or my voice or, just handshakes and let's take a picture. I mean, like, sometimes you can really just think, okay, what we're doing is just what we're doing. But then you realize you get genuine appreciation from people and they want to talk to you about, like, they could recall things that, I forgot that we even talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
I noticed that as well. I had one person say, man, I remember when you said, and it was in relation to an Eminem conversation where we were talking about him and his fan base, and it might have been, I don't know, man, it might have been when we were doing Stepdad, like that far back.
Yeah.
But
that's when Spools was still on the show.
Right, but shout out to DJ Spools, but saw him this weekend as well. They knew the stance and everything, and I'm thinking, in my mind, I cannot remember what I said. I don't want to be that person. But they weren't even mad. They weren't mad about that. It's just the fact that they were like, yo,
it stuck with
we
them.
watched. Yeah. It stuck with us. Like, it stuck with me. I remember when y'all said this, and I just love what you guys are doing. And that was it was very refreshing. It was.
I was getting some of those conversations too of people I wouldn't even have expected to have watched the show.
Right.
And was talking about how good we were doing, and such and such watches it too, and blah blah blah, and y'all don't really know how many people actually check out the show. Somebody told me that. I was like, dang, I guess I don't.
Or I heard someone say, look, I watch this weekly like I watch a TV show.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, hey, tell us more often.
Hey, for real. Somebody was like, yeah, I put it on my TV and I'm walking around the house or whatever I got going on.
That's great.
And I watch y'all. So salute to the people that have been supporting. We really do appreciate it. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps, us enthused about what we do. And it's really appreciated.
No, it really is, because in a lot of aspects, it's kind of a thankless thing that we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we do it because we want to do it for many reasons, but we don't necessarily do it for thanks, but it's cool when it happens.
Yeah.
And I actually had, to extend on that, I was talking to Slot A, shouts to Slot, he was in performing, and a dude came from around the corner and he was like, hey, do one of you guys run Bringing Down the Band? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he was like, man, I just want to thank you. I was like, all right. I didn't know who he was. He's like, man, you put me on a playlist like 6 years ago.
There we go.
And, like it really kind of helped me get from here to here. And now I'm here, like, like open playing at the Hoosier Dome and blah, blah, blah. I was like,
yeah,
that's what's up. He's like, man, I can't thank you guys enough. And I was like, that is like the first compliment that I've gotten from Bringing Down the Band in like a decade.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's genuine. That was genuine too.
And it's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, it really is kind of a thankless thing that we do sometimes. And it's, I don't know, it's wild, but that meant a lot. So shouts to that dude. Shouts to Larry, I think is his name. But
when you say thankless, it's easy for us to get into a rhythm of thinking we're not being appreciated just because we upload, we go on to the next one next week, and we do that.
I think what I really mean by it, there are definitely people that show support on a regular basis. It's that I just mean from an angle of the amount of support.
Yes.
Or let me rephrase that. Not even the amount of support, the amount of work that goes into it versus kind of like what we see sometimes.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean? Because like there's so much work that goes into both of those things and have in the past. And if you're going to line them up proportionality, like Bringing Down the Band had 12,000 posts on the website.
Yeah.
At one, and there's nowhere, and I'm not like
3 to 6 a day.
Yeah. And sometimes more. But it's not like demanding that, or anything. It's just like, it's cool. It's really cool when it happens. And it actually does mean a lot.
Yeah.
Like it really, like that meant a lot.
I had only talked to you, Lone, about people coming up to me about that. I hadn't spoken to Jay Moore or Terry about this. So the fact that you all both had it as well further lets me know that, there was, something in the air. Are we doing something right? Because all 4 of us at some point ran into multiple people who said, that they're rocking with us. I mean, that's a good sign, and it's very well received.
I think it's, I was pondering on this a couple of days ago, the idea of like for the culture, you know what I mean? And I would consider like what we do kind of a for the culture type of podcast.
Right.
And if you think about it, like we're a pretty big podcast in the sense of like maybe like Indiana is concerned.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to hip hop, and it was the biggest hip hop festival, but we weren't really represented from a New Old Head standpoint at this biggest hip hop festival.
Right.
But we were all a part of it in different ways. You know what I mean? That had nothing to do with the New Old Heads.
Yep.
We weren't there like pushing New Old Heads. We were just there being a part of the culture of Indianapolis and Indiana hip hop, and I think that's kind of cool, kind of speaks to us a little bit.
I actually thought the same thing. I was like, we weren't there as a team as far as the show is concerned.
Right.
But we all participated and were asked to participate in some kind of facet throughout the day. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
Shout out also to I saw some great photos that were floating around from, the Plaza stage and performances, and there's a great photo of us, all 4 of us together. Speaking of
Shout
us,
out
now,
to Jesse.
yeah, Jesse Tobar, photographer. He got a great shot of us, all 4 of us together. I saw that, came out very well. So salute to Jesse for that. A lot of good stuff I've been tagged in so far, and seeing more stuff pop up. I'm not sure. Once the rest of the official Chreece photos get uploaded, we may be tagged in some more stuff. But
I'm waiting to post anything else until like all the media kind of comes in.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that's still left to be obviously edited and uploaded.
But definitely big shouts to if you guys want to say more, but big shouts to Sean Oreo Jones, and big shouts to Jay Brookins and Jane.
That whole staff, all the volunteers.
Volunteers, staff, music, media, film. Shouts to the AV dudes that were out there with the bubbles all day. That was kind of cool. It was a very, big moving process of a lot of things, and I think this was by and far the best cohesive. Like everything seemed like it was
Agreed.
handled, even when there were a couple hiccups that happened throughout the day. A couple, some weird stuff happened, but in general, everything was handled good. I think everything that I saw was just again another really good event.
And actually, sometimes we get features or headliners that'll come in. I've always looked at headliners as a 50-50 thing. You don't know what type of day someone's having or what, may go on, but salute the Ninth Wonder. He was very gracious after his performance.
Took pictures.
Stood
Signed
around,
vinyl.
had conversations, signed wax.
Stick around for that.
Yeah, he was his DJ set was very live. Everybody he asked everyone to come up closer to where he was. And,
Yeah, I was still there at that time.
okay, yeah, but shout out to Ninth, man. He was very gracious with his time afterwards and had a great set. It was cool. Rupert Vincent was in the building as well.
He killed it.
Young fella was taking care of business out there. He's a beast. His project is dope as well. So y'all check him out. But
more importantly, let's get to it. Let's talk about the section leader set. Okay.
Man.
I know you guys were in the moment and making sure you were taking care of business, but I saw Ninth nodding his head.
I
Many a
heard
time.
that from
production.
multiple people.
I didn't see it at all, but
So I saw it. It was apparent that the vibe that you guys had going, that he was feeling it. So
Yeah.
I'm just
I appreciate that.
and the thing is, it was dope because I had heard the bits and pieces.
Yeah.
That you guys, as pre-show, we just kind of building,
Yep.
and then to see it all come together and to hear the finished product,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Because the thing is, a lot of times with crowds, and sometimes when they're unfamiliar with something musically,
Yeah.
it's hard for them to get into it.
Kind
But
of lose them. But
Yeah.
you try to lose
I
'em.
felt, especially with the songs, it was like, oh, okay, they did that to this, they took Ice Spice in another direction. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that was dope. And I think it was a set it was perfect. That set went right before Ninth Wonder.
wow, appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
It-
Appreciate it,
solid.
brother.
I just felt pretty good about it, And I felt really good about it. I didn't see any. So I screwed up. I was recording every single act on the plaza with a GoPro, like 15 minutes. I forgot to turn it on for ours.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
It's like,
You know what? I was looking at pictures, just a handful that we've had a chance to see so far, and I'm looking at shout out to the homie Grits, third member of Section Leaders. The picture of all three of us. I'm like, man, I've known and worked with music with these guys for over 20 something
25
years,
25
man.
years.
Yeah, like that was really dope to see because we all know in the industry people come and go. That's just in life. Forget the industry, like just in life, people come and go. So when you have good relationships and good friends, you want to hold on to them and nurture those. So it was really cool to be able to rock with my brother.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Grits since before the pandemic, so it's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, well,
He like Waldo. You got to catch him.
Yeah.
you know what? Now that I think of it, I don't think I had either. You know?
But I hadn't seen really. I mean, that's why Chreece is so cool.
Yeah,
though.
a lot of
It's
people.
No, I
it's
hadn't
like,
seen Man. Now that I think about it, I hadn't seen Man Dog.
I hadn't seen like any of these people.
Yeah, I hadn't seen.
It's been a while since I've seen Kinetic. Got a chance to chop it up with him.
I was super happy to see that Kinetic and Ninth got a time to kick it and talk to each other. So,
Yeah,
because they're
Both
both professors and they have that knowledge and everything. So I mean, Ninth definitely, like when I finished and I kind of looked over, like he looked
He was
right,
like, yeah.
he gave me like a nod, but
Yeah.
like outside of like, it's cool that people have kind of went out of their way to tell us that that Ninth was digging it. You know,
He shouted out the section leaders too.
He did do
Made
that.
sure everybody gave us flowers.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. I did not see that coming.
Real recognize real, man.
That's what they say, man. That's what they say.
So I
So
know it sounds cliche, but I mean it's the absolute truth when it comes down to it.
nah,
You
man.
recognize talent and you recognize somebody that you consider as a peer. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Ninth.
Yeah, man.
and he played loving it. And
Yeah,
I-
he did. I
man.
was
I did
like
not
way
expect.
far away. I'm
And
like,
I got
there
it.
it go right there.
I
and-
did get that on tape.
I recorded the whole mug.
He played
and
the
I got
joint with
two
Drake
versions
too.
of it too.
Man.
Played the joint with Drake too. And I look.
He paused. He was like, "This is Drake for y'all that don't know."
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I was literally unloading my truck with my car, the trunk of my car, to go into, and I heard that. I'm like, dang, man.
Hey, and when it dropped
like
though,
to be
because
over there.
he let the sample breathe.
Yeah.
So everybody knew what was going on. I looked at one of my best friends was there, and I looked back. And he got that look like, ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I recorded it halfway through the recording. The phone is doing this because I was rapping the whole. Because I was rapping the whole.
I couldn't
verse.
help it. I did the same thing. I couldn't help it because that's a jam. That's everybody knows that. So
Yeah, man.
it was good to see the plaza jumping around like it. You know, we were talking about shout out to tall black guy. He had it the same way.
Oh,
pre
yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have that location. What I always call our location. I just call it that.
Like Chreece Hub.
It's the hub.
If you don't do anything at Chreece, you come hang out at the square. You know.
No,
what I'm saying?
You got to pull up.
Yeah.
You have to pull up.
I told people, I was like, hey, you know, they're like, man, you know, I'd come to Chreece, but I didn't get any tickets or anything, or, you know, I got my kids with me. I was like, there's
Come
a
to the
spot,
plaza.
you can come to hang out.
Yep.
You know, we got something for you.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff for the kids. You got Jay Moore being the old man saying, y'all get off the water.
Their kids was loving that water.
They were loving it too, though.
I got someone put that in my ears like, hey, it's a liability issue. So.
Yeah, the babies was loving it though. They were loving
yeah,
it.
I know. I just didn't want none of the babies to slip on that wet rock.
Yeah.
Jay Moore said it so proper. It was so proper how you told everybody just to, you know,
Yeah, chill on that concrete.
y'all chilling that concrete, man.
It was yeah. It was a good time, man. The only bittersweet thing for me personally every year is the fact that I never really get to see anybody. Like I saw, that's the Flacco. I saw Flacco perform My Hat Don't Match My Fit. That's like as I was buying a shirt, like I had to run over to buy, I wanted to buy a shirt. And as I was walking away, my hat don't match my fit. So shouts to Flacco. But I saw like 2 seconds of, I think, the Kid Sky when I went to the bathroom at the Square Cat final. Like that's all I saw outside of the plaza.
I got to see TGI Free.
I heard he killed
did.
it.
Yeah,
He
did
took
really
care
good.
of, I think Terry was there. He took care of business.
He did.
Yeah.
He took care of business. And it was almost to the back in Square Cat. And he took care of business. He
did
was
his
one of the
thing.
contest winners.
Yep.
That was a part of when I judged. So he took care of business and earned his slot. I didn't get to see Jetties.
I seen Jetty.
I didn't get to see him. Fox,
of course,
Fox.
I'm biased when it comes to Fox. But
He really,
I'll let other people speak for Fox.
yeah, you know, I can't really. I don't want to. I'm with him on that one.
I wish I really, that's Fox was the one act I wanted to see, but you know, didn't work out, but it's all good.
He did what Fox does.
Yeah, Maxie did his thing. Woogie did his thing.
Yeah.
I was mad I didn't get to check out Distinct.
I didn't catch him, and I didn't get to Baby Ebony. I think those guys are extremely talented.
I saw a video of Fresco's. He looked like he killed his set too.
Yeah, he
shouts to
got
Fresco.
that energy.
Yeah, he does definitely.
Skip, he did a nice job. We was backstage while he was performing.
Skip usually take care of business. Yeah.
Stokes did his thing.
Shout out to Stokes. I like Jeremiah Stokes.
Shout out to Jake Huber.
Shout out to Jake.
And B Swift. I got to sit in for the G Note with them.
Yes.
Talked about the industry along with Oreo Jones. That was real cool. They recorded that, so I know they're going to put that out as well. There were actually two sections of the panel. It was, me and the people I just mentioned. Then they had a, ladies panel with DJ Littletown, Paris Ladam.
I didn't get a chance to see her perform. I wanted to see.
And
they say her perform.
DJ Spacebuns. And there was another young lady. She's like a model and curator. I stuck around for that because, I didn't want to be that dude that walks out on the ladies. And plus, I got to talk to Paris a little bit about music and, plus she had a,
how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
So she was actually very cool. I'd met her a couple times before, but it was when I was working. So all the noise, you don't really get to kind of talk to people. So this was an opportunity for me to kind of talk to different artists, her included. So, shout out to her, shout out to, shout out to first of all, it's just like, this is a thing where all the years we've done this, of course this is going back before the pandemic and whatnot. There's never been any real negativity to happen at Chreece. A hip hop festival, you have all these venues, all these artists and all these people who are coming to check out the culture. And it's all been peace and love. There's never been anybody tripping on anything. So
I agree.
There was a situation this year, but it got handled.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I was there, but
no,
I heard about it.
I did. I am upset. I missed the wrestling matches. Did y'all?
I heard about those, but I didn't know what they were talking about.
I was like, what the? Yeah, and it looked like
now y'all lost me. I have no idea what y'all talking about.
Several people were posted videos of
it was down there by Hot Boys.
Yeah.
There's an actual wrestling match for real.
Yeah, there's they had when I say wrestling, I mean they had a ring.
What?
It was you could.
They were dressed up as wrestlers.
Oh yeah,
they were wrestlers.
Yeah, it was
wrestling, man.
They was wrestling.
Yeah. That was part of the festival. You could have came out and saw some wrestling.
What in the stepdad? What's going on, man? That's crazy.
Going down. I actually seen, for those that know your Indianapolis, Indiana Naptown history, I seen one of the members of NAP at Chreece. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I pass I don't know if it's a member of somebody of NAP, but every time I ride to the school, I pass. There's this card in the front. It says "R.I.P. 𝐀𝐄𝐄𝐃.
Yeah, he was in NAP.
Oh, that person was.
Yeah, 𝐀𝐄𝐄𝐃 was. I think he passed.
Oh, I know 𝐀𝐄𝐄𝐃 was, but yeah. But somebody had like it on the front of their license plate, and I was like, I wonder if this is like somebody that's
I see what you're talking about.
a part of NAP. I don't know. I'd never seen
maybe
him.
a family member or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I didn't realize, obviously not being from here, but I heard of them. I didn't realize the wave was like that. But they
had a big record.
They had a wave.
Did.
Yeah, they had a wave. The more I talk to people that are from here.
I saw Edge. I hadn't seen Edge in a minute. Shouts to DJ Edge.
Yeah, I hadn't seen him probably since. Now I
know it's like
I didn't realize. Oh, I haven't seen these people, many of them, since like 2020 or the end of 2019.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't put that together either, honestly.
The pandemic took a lot away.
You know what though? When you're connected to people on Facebook, you're not seeing them in person,
right?
But you see them come through your timeline, so it almost gives the illusion that it hasn't been that long,
right? It's like we've still been in contact.
Put it in perspective. It's like, dang, I really haven't seen this person.
And like that makes it like almost 4 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's a long time.
Yeah,
but I'm glad that the organizers, Oreo and Brookins and everybody involved said, you know what, let's not try to rush it back. Let's take the time and the extra year, to get this right.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the check-in spot, the check-in location for artists to come in, or VIP, whatever you want to call it, in between some performances or something. And a lot of the younger artists that were coming in to check in and people that were out of town were talking about how cool it was from what they had seen thus far in terms of, the locations, the venues, the reception, the setup, everything that they had seen. They were like, man, I didn't even realize that this was going on, and this is so cool, and we want to come back next year. And like, they was really speaking high of, Chreece when I stopped by, and that was good to see too.
I wish we could have somehow compounded together and done, because they had like the photo shoots in the back that Jake was shooting.
Yeah.
I wish we could have done that, but
that'd have been dope.
But yeah, I mean, it was just
big props.
The weather held up for us. It looked like those clouds were going to do something.
Man,
but honestly, it just cooled the day off, because that first part of the day,
bad.
Man, it was hot.
Yeah,
bad. I went and got gas purposely because I said, look, I know I'm going to have to go to my car, cut that AC on, sit in there for about 10 minutes, regroup, and go right back out to the stage. So it was smoking around 2:30 in the afternoon when I first got there. And I know Lone had already been there. You had been there.
Mm-hmm. No, because I was
there at 9:30.
Yeah, that's early with me, because I got there at around noonish, so we could do the G note. But the thing is, it was outside.
Yeah.
And they had a little bit of cover for us, but the way the sun was hitting, it didn't do nothing.
Yeah. And I just got to give, he's the homie. Everybody here just good friends with him. But I got to give extra shouts to DJ Metronome and Nick.
Yes.
Just for like all the stuff that he does, not only in the city and stuff, because he was running around all over the place. Now he's doing stuff with Butter for this entire week. But like he was there. He was setting up sound at 6:15 in the morning for the bike race.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then he was there, and it was a long day to do all the things.
Put everything in U-Haul.
It's a lot of work that goes in on the back end, and Nick Metronome's a part of a lot of this.
He's actually he's actually a machine, man. He
is a machine, man.
He's a machine.
I feel like I do a lot of work.
Yeah,
but Nick does more than me, and it kind of baffles me sometimes.
We know what you do. We're around you a lot. So for you to even say that, what he does is so vital to a lot of these events.
He is.
It's priceless to these events.
Absolutely.
Oh no, he sets his price. You best to believe.
Oh yeah.
Oh, come on now. Oh, excuse me. I ain't trying. Let me rephrase.
My brother sets his price.
Metronome is not free, y'all. Don't get it twisted.
We started turning down events. So.
Yeah.
No, and
he ain't free now.
And the thing is, it's like, we all talked about how wiped out we were the next day. Metronome was right back up doing a brunch.
He was doing a brunch at like 10:30 in the morning.
10:30 in the morning. Like if you'd asked me to do something, I'm sorry, I'd have been can't do it.
Nah, I can't do it.
So yeah,
Energizer Bunny, man.
I didn't have to be to work till 9 p.m. that next night, and I was still like, I barely made it.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I didn't want to adult the next day.
Oh, that's right. And then, but you know what I tell you, what did save me? Because like the last Chreece behind like all the tables and all the coolers, it was all beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's all water this year.
This year was all water, and you know what? I'm happy about that.
I am too.
I
Like,
told Lone the same thing.
I'm so happy I didn't drink nothing that day other than them 2 sips, but them 2 sips got zeroed out real quick.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like I had a beer at 𝐀𝐁𝐎f when I went to go check out. You know, what was popping in there because 𝐁𝐁𝐃 was running those stages.
Yep.
And then but I was sweating so much that beer didn't do nothing.
Nothing.
Hey, I had one from the check-in spot, and I think one at, like you said, maybe a location. Everything else was water all day.
I just thought it would have been a bad idea. I was like, I'm gonna be out here, and if I start drinking, I'm gonna want to continue to drink.
You're gonna be split.
So by the time that I actually have to do what I need to do here, I'm gonna be worthless.
His slot was 10:45.
Man, 10:45.
Oh yeah,
So
you
It
had to
didn't
stay
even
on
start
point.
the performance until 11.
So you would have been cooked.
Man, I'd have been done.
Well, that and I still had to drive to Broad Ripple, so
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get caught up. I still can't get caught up partying when you're trying to get this money.
Yeah, that's part of being a grown up, being an adult.
Yeah, everybody, I'm proud of us. We all adulted this weekend.
Sure did.
You know what I'm saying?
Because part of me was like, let me bring a little something. And I was like, but no. We
Hey,
not
low
doing
key.
that.
Tonight I got me a
A little something.
Cheers.
Yeah, I got a
little
little something.
sippy
Man.
sip, you know.
I got me a little water still.
I ain't gonna hold. I
got more water than anything.
ain't gonna hold you, Jay Moore. Part of me now, and I'm glad you adulted, as we're saying, but part of me tends to be like, okay, let me check and see if Jay Moore gonna have his bag with him.
I mean,
Now that's wrong. As a friend, that's wrong.
You know, now
but I'm like,
I had my bag. I was like, I'm gonna take some of these waters. These joints are like $2.19 at the gas station. Let me just go ahead and get a couple.
I'm stupid because I swore was.
They're not a
Had
partner,
alcohol in
so
them.
Yeah,
we
make sure
don't-
you beat that out.
Oh, sorry.
We don't.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It does look like a beer though.
Bro, I felt so stupid when I realized this was water, but I kept drinking them. They was on point.
No, because I offered one to somebody. He's like, yo, I don't really mess with alcohol. I was like, this is just
Here, man, you need this, man.
This is just water.
95 degrees out here. Take this.
Thought I was just offering people tall boys who I know don't drink.
Agua frio.
That is actually genius to market that like
It
that,
is,
though.
It
man.
really is.
Yeah.
Good times, man.
Indeed.
I look forward to hopefully the next one, and as old folks say, Lord willing.
Hey, somebody came up and they're like, "Man, I'm not even from here." He's like, "I'm playing a show. I'm doing like sound rig for some prog band." And he's like, "Y'all need to do this like every 6 months." I was like, "Nah, once a year is perfect."
Yeah, man. So salute to the staff. Salute to the city for showing up and showing out. Salute to everybody that came out and had a good time and
Straight
took
up.
pictures and did videos and talked to us and talked to the artists. All that
to
good
each other. It
stuff.
was all love.
Yeah, it was all love, man. You missed a good time if you didn't show up. So maybe we'll see y'all next year. All right, man. Hey, Lone, I didn't even realize it, but I guess we can shout out our partners at this point. Is that cool, or, or shall we continue?
Yeah, we can do that.
Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Printfinity is a screen printing shop based in Indianapolis, owned and operated by our own DJ Jay Diff. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as $3 a month. All details on newoldheads.com.
What I noticed about Chreece is there's a lot of talent in this city.
Mm-hmm.
So I pose a question. Small city bias. When we talk about small city bias, everybody says you have to go to the big city to hear talent, or the talent's usually associated with a bigger city. Is a small city bias, is that programmed, or is that just people not paying attention to their local surroundings? Because
Can you elaborate on the question a little bit?
so what I'm saying is, so I noticed that we know a lot of the talented people here in the city. But I feel like from time to time, I always hear there's no talent here. You have to go to Chicago. You have to go to LA. You have to go to New York. You have to go to these locations to find talent. I'm like, no, talent is here. But I don't know if people are truly paying attention or actually trying to pay attention to the local talent and actually support them. Because I saw plenty of people on Saturday that are extremely talented, and it's right here in Indianapolis. But I don't know if that's just like I said, a lack of people paying attention, or is it just people buying into the stereotype that you have to go to the big city to find talent? Do you see what I'm saying?
I see what
Kind
you're
of.
saying, but in the same token,
Because I think that's a thing.
I don't know. In the same token, it's like people people know that talent is all over this country. You know what I'm saying? You have to know that.
Okay.
Because a lot of people that have migrated to these other cities aren't from these cities where they make it at. But in the same breath, you going to that city does not guarantee you a spot in the industry. And I think a lot of it has to do with record execs and people that are so-called gatekeepers or have their eyes or ears to the street, only focus on those main areas. So it's going to be Chicago, Atlanta, California, and New York until one person from some area pops off, and then they flood the gates. They want to go there and try to find everybody. You experienced that being in St. Louis.
Exactly.
As soon as Nelly got on, then they wanted everybody from St. Louis.
Right.
Here, there's people. There are a lot of people here that are actually in the music industry that are more so behind the scenes. I think the only thing that hasn't happened here is somebody from hip hop hasn't made it. There's been a lot of people, R&B
Producers,
songwriters, execs even that are from here. Snoop Dogg's latest signee, the October London. He's from Indiana. Sounds just like Marvin Gaye. He's from Indiana. The only part that's not tapped into is the hip hop side of things here as far as being an artist. But other than that, I think it's we're in a different day and age where, like we've talked about before, your internet presence and your followers and things like that make a difference too. You talked about, speaking to Paris Ladame, Issa Rae shouted her out a few years back and kind of helped create her wave a little bit.
Right.
Now, she didn't pop off super big or anything like that. But just
like her song is in a episode of Insecure.
Exactly. Right? So those little things like that, being able to connect to somebody online is kind of more important nowadays than actually being physically there, in my personal opinion.
Well,
what do you think, Jay?
I talked to a couple artists, and one of them said something that's kind of crazy to me. He said, do you think I got to go out of town to blow up there, and then maybe, Indianapolis will get behind me? And I said, you know what? It wouldn't be the first time that happened.
There we go.
We go. Sometimes it's almost like with, if you've got a child and, there's a toy they haven't played with or they've ignored for however long. If they see somebody else pick up that toy, they're going to want to play with that toy.
Right.
And sometimes it does come down to where, with the small time mindset, and the thing is, honestly, there are towns that are a lot smaller than Indianapolis that have figured out how to get their artists out there. Like, shout out to Memphis. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Nick Jeezy just brought that up in the chat. And, you talk about how they get around us, but, they've had that look for well over 2 or 3 decades now.
Right.
To where they've been recognized on a national level.
And they had somebody that, quote unquote, went from Memphis.
Yeah.
You got to have that. Terry's talking about that one. They've had a couple of those early on.
Because even with, the whole, the way the Lunatics blew up, they had connections out of town, in Atlanta and New York with Cool
Their
Love.
DJ was DJ World, which is from here.
Yeah. So, we talk about that, sometimes you got to have that person in the other city to, and make it a regional thing.
Right.
I just think that, with indie, there is so much talent. And I just think for a while, and I don't want to put this on, and I don't want anybody to feel some kind of way about this. Like, they're waiting for somebody to come get them.
That's the part I'm speaking to when I say negligence. Is that
now? I think Indianapolis has a more independent mindset. It is like, look, we're from Indiana. We're not just going to do a version of what they do in Atlanta, a version of what they do in New York, or a version of what they do in LA. We're going to do Indianapolis. I mean, like, that's what's so incredible about having a hip hop festival here in Indianapolis, which is by and large supported and run by Indianapolis artists.
True.
Yes.
So and plus with the new record, economy, you're not going. P Swift was on the panel with me. Shout out to him. Gave me some game. We were just talking about radio and how things move and how radio hasn't broken a record in 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
If you think that like getting your song played on the radio is going to change your life in 2023, no.
No,
sadly,
just at one point, like, because like there's always that part in the in the biopic movie about the group or whatever where they hear their song on the radio and their life changes. No, doesn't happen like that
anymore.
It doesn't. I literally just seen somebody make a post about that today on Facebook. about and this happens every few years. The radio station needs to support local artists.
I saw that post.
It doesn't work like that,
and
it's
doesn't
like it's
matter.
a recycled.
It doesn't matter.
It's a recycled conversation that keeps getting brought up, and it doesn't matter. You bring up 𝐵_SWIFT. 𝐵_SWIFT actually had a time slot where he would play local artists on certain days.
Yep.
But it doesn't matter if he's playing it on the radio or not. If you're not reaching more than just those people in that 1 hour,
right,
that the stuff is being played.
And even before that, Rec One used to play.
Yep, he sure did.
He used to play a local record
on Fridays.
He used to play one every night before the 9 o'clock Mickey Ficky mix.
You're right.
And you know what?
That's dope.
But the people wouldn't have it. Would it be registered with BDS? Did they have something else for people to connect with that song?
No clean versions.
The fact that you guys saw that post
today
in 2023, that's a extremely outdated thought process.
It is
based off what we know in terms of how things move around now, right? Like that's beyond outdated. It's not about trying to down radio. It's just the truth. Like the social media and everything has expanded everything, the reach. Like you can reach so many more people now by, using multiple, avenues to get to these people. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Like
that's what we do.
That's exactly.
I guarantee you those people. There are people who came up and maybe spoke to one of us. They probably have never listened to the show through one of the traditional podcasting apparatus, but they may have seen us on YouTube, or TikTok, or Instagram.
And it could have been, like you said, it might not have been the full. Lone would know the numbers better than I would, but it could have just been a short that came up in the algorithm or something. It's like, oh, who are these guys? And they went through the rabbit hole and went back and done the research. It happens like that. I do that with people that I'm not aware of that might pop up in an algorithm. It happens like that. It can be that fast,
Yeah.
But jump in, Lone.
This conversation can get pretty deep. I think what I would say is that if you're in a place like we are, where there is no historical precedence for what we're kind of like aspiring or wanting to have happen, the only thing that can happen is people have to build it. The infrastructure has to be built. And when you think about Chreece, how since that's kind of what we're talking about today, how that got built because there were a whole bunch of people that were that did music and were a part of the local music scene, got together and decided that we needed something like this. Terry and I, we alluded to this last week when we were we were in the process of working towards trying to throw a festival for bringing down the band here. And then that's around the same time that Sean Oreo hit me up and saying, hey, we're going to be doing this thing. And then that was kind of like, well, let's just get on board with this, because rather than try to have two separate things, if we can all come together,
Voltron, let's form like Voltron.
We can maybe make something. And look what's happened, 6 Chreeces later. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the work that is involved in building some of these things sometimes is, it just doesn't happen overnight. Back to your statement of should people have to leave? I think where it's at right now, I don't think people have to leave, but they have to. But it has happened that way. You have to understand kind of like what the market is, and if you want something different, you have to build it, man.
Yeah.
And everybody sitting at this table is a part of something that we have built something significant within the city that didn't exist before.
Yeah, true. I think too. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
A lot of people go to these cities and run back here. Because they weren't welcome, like as soon as you got here, that you got put on. It just doesn't work like that. So more often than not, you're going to end up back here, and people are going to start to. I'm surprised people haven't already start paying attention more to what we have going on here as far as the music culture, because they should start picking up and coming here and kind of pulling people up the rank, so to speak, and put them on pretty much in position to win.
But to your guys' point, we don't have that top tier artist. We don't have that one person that's blown. And whoever that person is that does do that, if that person does not do that, then it's going to be a cycle. you know, because we're not in a place where, you know, like I said, it's it's different than it was 20 years ago, you know? And so I think, but there still is a very, very much of a grassroots thing, things that can happen and can help build the culture up, so that when certain artists are ready to propel to that stage, that there are things in place here that can help push them even further, you know? And that, talking about bringing down the band, that was really the inception. That was the whole idea around bringing down the band.
Right.
It was like, you know, I was an artist. I had no business starting a music blog. You know what I mean? Like, and I never wanted to be a blogger, but I saw like, you know, an opportunity to create something to help people like me, hopefully the next generation of me's, to you know, to be able to grab those people and put them in better situations as long as they are taking care of their business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and help, you know, push them up. But it takes an army, man. It takes an army, and it's not just, you know, this whole idea of I can just go somewhere else or I can just do a little bit of work and it can just turn into something. You're thinking wrong. Like, and I hope that you look at it from a different angle. You know, sure, things can pop off, and no, we don't want people to, you know, want success for everybody, you know, but at the same time, like, you have to put the work in, and you have to just accept the fact that there's a lot of work. And for Indianapolis to become a bigger thing, it's going to take more people that are willing to do the work for other people as well.
I think it's weird too that there's been artists in the past from here that have actually gotten record deals and national exposure, but it never really did anything outside of having maybe one song make it to like a MTV or something like that. Like even Maxie, his first song that he was featured on, I Put It on the Hood, was on MTV with him and G-Fresh. That was on MTV. 625 had a record deal at one point in time.
Trilogy, right?
Trilogy 625.
Okay, yeah.
They had a record deal at one point in time. They would pop up on my Pandora when I would be listening to it from time to time. A few other, Mud Kids had some national exposure too at some point, but it's like we get our foot in the door, and then it's like, I don't know what happens after that.
I feel like when you're coming from a smaller demographic, the amount of momentum that you have to have is just, you have to have momentum and you have to keep it. And if you lose that momentum, sometimes it's hard to keep it.
Let me ask you this, Lone. We're talking about the concept of an artist, you know, one person being the springboard or being the Nelly, you know, example, right?
I mean, because look, we look. I'll be honest. I was like, man, I just hope he sells 500,000 records. That'd be a good look for the city.
Well, let me ask you guys this though. Lone,
he exceeded that.
10 million records later.
Definitely exceeded. Well, I'm asking you. You talked about it. Basically, the concept is it takes a village, right? That's the concept that we're talking about for this to work. So. If we
want to succeed as a small market,
sure, like
a small independent market, like in that aspect?
My question is, what is the level of responsibility that comes with the person that quote unquote blows as it relates to them pouring back into the culture after they have, you know, sell X amount of records? Is there something on them to be able to come back and say, hey, I want to shine light on the city that I come from? Or is it like, I've done it, y'all, let's ride the wave and you guys build it from there? Because sometimes people will say that person will blow, but they won't come back. Or they won't try to
have to come
back. That's what I'm asking.
They don't look, because, you know, look, they had to get themselves in position.
True.
Look, I mean, Nelly they didn't ever sign anybody else from St. Louis.
Nah, they sure did.
That's tough.
It was St. Lunatics. That was it.
Barely, like, you know, I hate to put it out there, but like we finding out later on, Nelly barely helped out the St. Lunatics, and that was his.
You believe Ali, don't you? I see it in your eyes. You believe.
I believe it.
Look at it.
But, you know, because like everybody else, Chingy was not a part of that crew.
Nah.
Jaquan was not part of that crew. Ebony Eyes, there's no extended crew. Like, but the whole thing was when Nelly got on that record, Country Grammar, and said, I'm from the Lou and I'm proud. And every time you saw him, he had on St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Rams.
True.
You know, not so much anymore. But I'm just saying, like, there was no getting past the fact that he was from St. Louis. Like, he didn't wear any other teams, other colors.
True.
In
Cardinals,
that first run of everything was red and white or blue and gold.
Even the cars.
Yeah,
True.
Everything, so there wasn't like you didn't just throw on anything because it would be fly. No, it was St. Louis all day, every day, and that's why every Def Jam, Columbia, Sony, everybody and their mama came. There are so many people who got signed from St. Louis that y'all never even heard of.
I believe you. I believe you.
Because it was like they was just coming. If we could just catch a little bit of this Nelly lightning,
Yeah.
Now
we got Sexy Red.
If we could,
Oh, what a time to be alive.
and you know what? Now it's going to be a whole bunch more people. It's like, what else they got over there in 317?
Yeah.
What were
That's
you
not 317.
Yeah, don't get it
I'm
confused.
sorry, 314. Hey, 314.
Come on now.
314.
Come on now.
Yeah, no.
You gonna strip
I
all
do
the
not claim her.
You gonna strip all the flowers away from what we just been talking about. Don't do that. Lone,
I'm just saying though.
What were you gonna say, Lone? I think you were about to interject.
I was gonna say, look at it in the same sense of like how Mike Epps treats it.
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
I love Mike Epps for
You know
that
what I
too.
mean?
He put
Like,
the
I do
Nap or
too.
Nothing on his TV
On
show.
his TV show.
That's
on now.
huge,
Man,
bro.
that is somebody, and I don't know about people from other cities or other states, but that dude champions this city,
He does.
and he speaks it with his chest out.
He does.
Anywhere he's at.
And that's I think that's essentially kind of what we need from somebody that's
Yeah.
in that role. Is
Like,
somebody like him.
Like,
that,
there's nobody who's gonna be like, I wonder where Mike Epps is from.
Never.
They know he repped the Colts, the
I
Pacers.
think
Like
he was like the ambassador for the Colts at one point. in
yes,
time.
and he rocks with the Colts and the Pacers, and it's all of you seen.
It's all through the TV show.
TV show.
There's IU stuff in there. There's I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Purdue, but there's a lot of IU stuff on Mike Epps' show.
The Colts,
Colts, Pacers,
the one of his episodes was
Upshaws.
set at a Pacers
at a
game.
Pacer game. Yeah,
I also think that it also has to be somebody that is likable
yeah.
and that people want to get behind.
which
Yeah.
Mike Epps checks both of those from a comedic standpoint.
Yeah.
Like to me, I would have a much easier time personally getting behind certain artists that blow up than others. And maybe
That's true.
Maybe it shouldn't be that way, but I think there is something to be said about like
No, it's
the
real.
quality of artists that gets put on, because if Sexy Red is from Indianapolis and she is that person, it's like
Well, Kitty Red's from Indianapolis, and they're saying that they're very similar.
I've never heard of her.
I'm sleep on that.
but,
You gotta put me on game on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta put me on
you
game.
might
on
have
that.
to just do your Googles on that one.
I'm gonna do some Googles on that.
Yeah, okay. But either way, but I think that matters too. I think depending on who that person is,
Yeah,
like if it's somebody if somebody blows up out of our city that is legitimately put in the work
Yep.
for years and they're ingrained in the culture, and I'm just going to throw this out there. This is no personal shot because I don't know him personally, but if it's somebody who gets big, but it's like Mark Battles, it's not going to have the same type of impact because the city doesn't embrace him.
right.
City doesn't
Well, it
embrace him.
depends on what list you're looking at.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
that
God, don't
but
get
that's
me
not-
started on that.
That was
That's
just
not-
a troll for the
Yeah,
troll.
That's a
it's
troll
troll
list,
for the troll,
But
yeah.
that's what it is. Like Mark Battles has done things here.
Yes,
but
yes.
he never came up in that system.
That traction ain't the same.
And it's just when he comes back, sure, he has certain types of support, but he doesn't have the artist community behind him.
right.
And so those two pieces are not connected, and I think that's
I
integral.
think they have to be connected to your point in
For
order
it to grow like that.
for it to work. 100%. 100%. Yep.
So, and that's no shot at him. It's just that's how he did it. It worked for him. Good for him.
No, for sure.
And he's
Yeah.
not a bad artist. Like he doesn't make bad music, but he does not have that same type of support.
There's another kid moving up the ranks. I think he's from up north.
Midwest. Yeah, Midwest is literally the neighbor of one of my students.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
But I've never seen him doing anything.
He played Lollapalooza this year.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
good for him.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, there's levels to it. You know what I mean? And again, it's I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can like legitimately bring up a culture of a city from an artist like that.
Right, right.
I think that would be my argument. Like they have to be ingrained. It has to be like that's when we were talking about like Maxi. Maxi would be perfect because Maxi is so ingrained in so many different ways.
Right.
He represents Indianapolis.
Exactly.
So like, I feel like it has to be an artist like that actually does this.
There's a handful of guys that I think, to your point, he being the one for sure. But he's the epitome of what you're describing.
Because then you get the people that are a part of the city
Right.
behind it as well. It's not just like
Right.
spot. It's not, I think it just makes it more
Authentic.
valuable.
It makes it more authentic, and it
makes people proud.
somebody that's actually works with people in the city too.
Yeah.
but
There's a lot of artists that we personally know that they're fans of actual artists in this city, and they work with actual artists in the city too.
Yep.
And then the people that, we talked about in the past how this city is something where you have to be on before you get the support, right?
Oh yeah.
The accolades,
But if the person that is on is already ingrained in the city and he's already working, or she is already working with a bunch of people within the city, it's more integrated.
It
you know
takes.
what I mean?
I think that concept, it'll take care of itself. If, like you said, if that person is doing that, it'll take care of itself. It'll trickle down. Easier said than done. But I just thought about that coming off Chreece because I saw so much talent. I ran into so much talent. These are people that I'm aware of.
Still last week we said, does talent matter? Talent doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I'm with you. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm with you 100%.
Because unfortunately, like I said this, and this was kind of my walk-off moment at the end of the G-Note address. I said, these record companies are not interested in nurturing your talent. They are interested in nurturing your analytics.
Man, that's a bar right there.
You know what I'm saying? There's nobody who's just like, oh, I think this person's such a good singer, such a good rapper.
Doesn't matter.
That I'm going to sign them and we're going to go ahead and develop this talent. No, we're going to see who, they got this many views.
Yep.
They got this many spins already. That's who we're going to rock with.
Yep.
If you're upset every time you see somebody who say, well, I know somebody with more talent than that, well, then you don't get it.
You don't.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that's what you should aspire to. And I think that's the double thing that people don't catch sometimes. Is like, even though that's the way it is, if you try that route,
I think there's something to be said, because there are talented people who are generating those analytics,
for sure,
and we should gravitate towards them and then foster that talent. We should, Sean made a point last week when he talked about and basically he said we have personalities occupying spaces that should be occupied by actual artists.
Right.
Yeah, that's real.
Like, there are people,
content creators.
There are content creators who make a song, and then we think that person is an artist. No, that's a personality. And once we're tired of their personality, we will discard them.
That's right.
Because they make a record, but in real life they sell jewelry or real estate or something like that. That's a real thing.
They got a candle company. I don't know. That's what it is.
They do tarot cards on the side.
It's people that have records out that are real estate brokers. I'm like, is this smoke and mirrors?
But you could tell.
It can, but that's
What? It depends on if, there's a thin line in that one, because you can literally be part of the culture and still doing both. But when you're just doing it because you're trying to be on a trend, that's a difference.
That part,
you want people to look at you.
Yeah, that's a little different.
I'm gonna do a record for clout, to bring attention to my business and my website, but I'm really not entrenched or anything that has to do with the culture.
Are you still going to do that record if nobody listens to it?
Right.
There we go. You know what I mean? That's the part.
Or does your art actually reflect anything about who you are, or you just playing a role of somebody that will fit into the narrative that you think will sell?
12 times out of 10, it is about a narrative, and it's about.
That's to a narrative.
Did I say narrative?
A narrative?
I didn't say narrative. Did I? I hate him.
Maybe we heard it.
Watch the playback.
Yeah,
sorry, continue.
Check the tape. Yeah, sorry. Coach Carlisle. Anyway, that's the narrative, though, man. That's it. We want the clicks. Algorithm. Jay Morris, algorithm. That's what it's about at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that's it.
Just good conversation.
But either way, shout out to all the talented artists that are out there. And
artists.
But yeah, I hear that every once in a while. Artists.
But it is I think, but it's a combination. So many moving parts have to happen at the same time.
Yes,
and it's not just supporting artists; it's also supporting the people that are supporting the artists.
Yes,
and it's got to be one big collective community that is doing this. In my opinion,
we need a lot of Lamonts here.
Oh man, that brother's. Shout out to him. We need more people like that. That brother's everywhere. It's that. It takes that type of support and that type of dedication.
But I think it does from fans. But
from a fan standpoint.
But I also think that from an artist, there needs to be more of a what I think there needs to be also within the cities. There needs to be a more symbiotic relationship between media outlets and the artist as well. And I'm speaking on this specifically, knowing how this thing
you have
specifically
a lot of
works, and it just it's tough. But I feel like, and I'm not even leaning one way or the other. I'm just saying the relationship between those two entities has to improve and grow together.
Yeah.
For I think significant change to happen.
And this conversation we could talk forever about this, because I saw the term gatekeeper being thrown around. Now, we've had this conversation from the Ebro standpoint, from the whatever.
Is this the same conversation? I didn't know if we're in the same topic or you were pivoting.
I'm not pivoting, but I just saw it come up because you talked about relationships, media. You talked about that and how all of it goes together in order for it to be successful. Sometimes people look at media outlets as gatekeepers. Like those are people that can pull strings if you want.
To a degree.
If you will. To a degree, right? But I saw that brought up in conversation, or I had a conversation with someone about, man, this city, in terms of the gatekeepers, there's too many gatekeepers. There's too many people that have.
Nobody is on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can't nobody
This the
gatekeep here.
conversation that we're having is nobody in the hip hop community is on like that.
Thank you, man.
So
Thank
who
you.
is doing the gatekeeping?
That's my. Thank you.
I mean, there's certain levels of gatekeeping. I've done certain levels of gatekeeping. I mean, you could say that I have gatekept if I haven't taken the time to post somebody's music.
People are literally
But
just
what these
locked- you're
people
just-
are
we're
alluding
locked
to-
out.
It's just
You're
like,
locked out.
I'm not
There's
getting-
nobody at the gate.
That's what I mean. It's like we can push people, but at the same time, like we're creating something too. And
Come on, man.
I mean, are there people I won't book on Friday or Saturday night in my establishment? Yeah, but that's just because they're not good enough.
Exactly. And I think that's important.
tasteful selection.
And
though.
someone will look at you and say, "Oh man, you holding down the culture
No,
because
like,
you
man,
didn't want
Friday
somebody."
and Saturday night is not the time for you to try stuff out.
And there's nothing wrong with that, Jay. There's nothing wrong with you being able to say, "I don't want this person on my Friday or Saturday
Trust
night."
me, don't ever take it personally. If I thought
It's not personal.
If I thought you could move the crowd and you was gonna bring some people in, trust me, I'd have you in there like nobody's business.
Facts.
But you know,
that gatekeeping conversation is, especially here, in my personal opinion, is old and tired.
Yeah.
Because
No, I mean, but I'll defend the people that say gatekeepers, even though I don't agree with it, only for the simple fact that, like, when it comes down to when we would post music or we share music, yes, we're posting what we like.
Yes.
Don't get me
it's
wrong.
my personal taste, though.
Exactly, but people don't understand that. People don't understand that. It's like it's not about personal taste. It's just about a certain level of a standard that you have to hit.
Standard is a good word. Standard.
And
is
if
a
we
good word.
have no standards, then we end up like St. Louis, man, and we don't want to be like St.
damn, okay, why I gotta be like that?
he got mad. He mad.
Y'all just okay, yeah, sexy red's blowing up, but we got no standards. We've been giving you so much heat over the years,
Hey, yo.
all the way from
Low-
Chuck Berry to
Yo. Shouts to Mastermind and Black
To-
Spade
to-
and
yeah,
Tempo
to
and
Miles Davis. We've been giving
Jay
y'all
Moore,
heat for decades.
Jay Moore, I'm just saying though. Those are your roots, my brother. I'm gonna need you to come on home and just, rock a couple of them records a little bit more. Just do what you got to do,
That's
man.
just
in your
one- I ain't
establishment.
even gonna blame it on the city of St. Louis.
No, I was just kidding.
They can't hold that.
I ain't gonna blame it on them because the country is the one that has her in the choke.
I mean, like,
Look,
she
man,
don't even shoot her videos in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, for
that's
those-
she is
tough.
from there.
For those that don't understand, that was a joke.
It's definitely a joke.
So shouts to St. Louis.
There'll be somebody that's gonna be emotional that missed it. Oh, we used to it.
Shout out to Tefpo. Shout out to 𝐀𝐄𝐀𝐿. Shout out
Thank
to Black
you.
Spade.
We don't want nobody
Yeah,
jumping
shout out.
off the arc.
Please.
The arch?
The arch. Hey man, McDowell's
Shout out
and
to
McDonald's. man.
Rockwell Knuckles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
who-
Look at Jay Moore, he in
shout
his bag now.
everybody. You know.
The DJ from Run the Jewels.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody who used to rock at the High Point Cafe.
Straight up.
Look at Jay Moore, a historian. All right, man. Let's like the bong. Let's talk LL, man. LL Cool J. He's a great guy. I had never met him, but perfect. Lona's potting over there.
Set it up perfect.
Yeah.
So LL was on stage. One of the performances. Everybody has been celebrating the 50th year of hip hop. I'm gonna read this comment. Everybody's saying this is being pointed at Hov. We'll kind of dive into it and see what you guys think. And I also want to hear what you think just about the comment on its face value. Just let me shout it out to all you rappers trying to play Mystery Man. Stop effing up your legacy, he said, without saying any names. Get on this damn stage, man. So people thought that was a direct shot at him saying Hov has not popped out
Absolutely not.
to any of these celebrations.
Absolutely
Now,
not.
here's where I'm going, Terry. I'm coming to you first.
Could be about Melly Mel.
Man, come on. Rah.
You know
It could be.
You know that because Melly Mel has performed. Don't do
I haven't
that.
seen J. Cole pop out.
Yeah.
Don't do
I
that.
haven't seen Kendrick
See,
Lamar drop out.
here y'all go. I'm talk to you. So let me talk to Terry.
He's like, I'm gonna deal with your ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Terry first. Because they cutting up over there. Terry, you said you sound like you don't agree.
I don't.
Now, here's my thing. Is he right does he? If anybody is justified to say this, because he also said in the comment, I mean in the clip, he said, if anybody, if I can be out here, I know you can be out here. He said that.
Listen.
Is he wrong in his sentiments for the 50th anniversary?
When we're talking about Jay-Z and messing up your legacy, there's no way you can put those two words or phrases in the same sentence.
So there's nothing that Hov can do to mess up his legacy. That's what you
not
telling
when
me.
it comes to him getting on the stage.
All right.
No, that's just not possible. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
With Hov's homage to the 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Is his display at the library in Brooklyn. Book of Hov. I mean, it literally has a baseline prop studio set up inside the library.
Man, I wanted to see that.
Come on, man. I don't know. I kind of get in my feelings a little bit when people take shots at Jay.
Yeah.
Because it's weird. It's like, what would make anybody fathom that he's talking about Jay-Z? Now let's talk about who he could possibly be talking about. He just said J. Cole, possibly.
Kendrick.
Drake is on tour right now, but they love Drake. I seen somebody who listed Drake as, I don't know if y'all seen that questionnaire that was going around where it lists your top artists, your favorite group, your favorite this, that, and the other for the 50th. Somebody put Drake on all of the
Well, I mean,
the boxes, and people were agreeing
People are
with it.
weirdos.
I mean, people eat their hair. You know what I mean? So
And boogers.
That's what you
just
came
saying.
up with, Long.
I mean, I'm just saying, like,
But who else could he be talking about, though? That's what I want to
Look,
figure
I
out.
feel like he is talking about Jay-Z. There are some deep-rooted things with LL and Jay-Z.
It is, but for him to throw shots at Jay-Z?
I mean,
Here's my thing, though, man. Like,
he felt some kind of way when Jay got to be president of Def Jam.
But I'm playing.
I've been here since before it was.
I'm
whatever.
playing devil's advocate, right?
Okay.
Get your
And
hustle hand
the
together.
reason I'm playing devil's advocate because sometimes we hear comments from people that are not qualified to say them.
sometimes, huh?
Well, is it more than sometimes?
Our comment section.
A veces.
Well, yeah, the comment section, they definitely ain't qualified. That probably get us 150 right there.
All right.
Sorry. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. So if anybody is qualified, Jay Moore, to say this based off everything that he's done, he set up this tour on top of who he is. I'm not mad at LL saying, yo, and it's subliminal, but just pop out. Like, it's the 50th anniversary. You see what we doing out here. You see the wave that we have going on. Bam, just pop out. I don't think
He's
there's
on tour
anything
with
wrong
his
with
wife.
that. Oh, man. See?
It could be about anybody though.
It could be.
It could be, but you know what?
The internet's jumping out the window, putting it on hold. I'm
Because
just saying.
but he's also saying, like, if I can do it, kind of alluding to the fact that he's older?
No, he's alluding to the fact that he's got it going. He's got that TV money. He's got Rock the Bells as an organization.
Okay.
He's got his money. He doesn't have to be out here on anybody's tour right now. I think that's where he's saying it. But you know, like I said, there's a lot of people you could be like, where are they? You know, where is? Okay, maybe not.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
But also, if you going first of all, you know how people act when it comes to Jay-Z and anything.
I do.
If you're gonna say Jay-Z, just go ahead and say
Just
Jay-Z.
say it. Tarnishing a legacy, though?
I mean, you can't.
Okay, so
Jay-Z has been doing side missions pretty much since the Black Album. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So
his
I'm
legacy is solidified.
I'm gonna concede the legacy talk to Terry's point. I'm gonna concede that because Hov is pretty much set. I'm leaning more towards the conversation about LL being big enough to say this. That's where I'm at. I don't have anything. I don't have a problem with it.
He's one of the. He's
a
not
pioneer.
He's not a founding member, but he's a pioneer.
Yeah.
Of modern day hip hop. But for you, when you're talking about messing up a legacy, that's where I draw the line.
Okay.
It's one thing to call somebody out and say that you should be out here doing this too.
Right.
But messing up a legacy?
I mean,
come on, man. This man,
it was hyperbole, right? It was gas.
This man is married to Beyonce.
I still think
and has paintings worth millions of dollars that are pretty much in his will for his children to be good forever.
It's got nothing to do with hip hop, though.
It has a lot to do with hip hop because you know what it has to do with? Capitalism.
You know about capitalism.
Yeah.
No, but I said it a few shows ago.
I still think he's talking about Melly Mel.
He's not talking about Melly Mel. Go ahead, Jay.
When we were talking about this, okay, yeah, say Jay-Z shows up. That means there's somebody else who maybe deserves. I'm not going to say that Jay-Z doesn't deserve to be there, but like, it's not like Jay-Z needs the attention or the adulation.
But what does that do for the concert, though?
What
Jay?
does that do for the concert? It takes,
if Jay pops out,
it takes attention from every other artist that's there.
It takes attention from LL. while everybody is jumping out the window. And I'm an LL Cool J fan. Don't get it twisted.
He clearly don't care though, bro. Like,
But this is Jay-Z, man. That's
I'm saying
all
if Jay-Z, because you know what, if Jay-Z comes out, it becomes a Jay-Z and friends situation.
Yeah.
And I want it to be.
Y'all
I
might
want
be
these to
right.
be celebrations of hip hop.
Yeah.
y'all might be right.
It's not even a Rock the Bell show anymore. Now it's a
Rock Nation.
Rock Nation. Now it's Rock Nation.
So say Jay-Z gets out there and he does 15 minutes. People gonna be like, "Oh, he didn't do this, he didn't do that." Or Jay-Z, he left us hanging. And then here comes Special Ed or somebody. And that's not to diss Special Ed because I love Special Ed. But
Classic,
what are
classic.
you gonna do? Because if this is a show, where do you let Jay-Z close? You don't let him open.
because people are gonna start leaving.
Yeah.
So you guys are this is what you're telling me. So for these the tour that LL obviously has with the Roots and everybody else in regional people popping out. If Hov does not close, you guys are telling me that people are gonna walk out if Hov performs.
I'm not saying that, but
I don't know if I agree with that.
who put on incredible shows.
One of my top 5 ever, Roots.
So I'm just saying, okay, how do you insert Jay-Z into
It can be
one of
done.
these shows?
It can be done.
Maybe
could be done,
maybe he
but-
starts rapping a verse from Special Ed, and then Special Ed comes and finishes it.
No, man.
Is that rumor true though?
Say Jay-Z, it's in Atlanta, and they have JD pop out, and and then they
do
have
Money Ain't a
Jay-Z
Thing.
does Money and a Thing.
That would be
He
fire.
has to do more than Money Ain't a Thing though.
Yeah, he
Jay
does.
can't come out and only do Money Ain't a Thing.
Now that's not gonna work.
That's impossible.
That's not gonna work. I agree with that. That's not gonna work.
But is that rumor true that Jay and LL went to the same high school and LL laughed at Jay-Z rapping?
I think
Did
that
y'all hear that before?
I've heard it.
I've
Yeah,
heard that,
I've
and
heard
Busta Rhymes was in high school with him too. I've heard all of that.
That's what I heard.
I heard
but
they
I don't
went to
know.
the same high school, but weren't there all together.
Did they miss each other by senior freshman
LL
type?
is older than Jay.
Did he laugh at him rapping?
Probably. LL was one of them dudes who would
don't
just.
know.
I mean, it sounds like
remember-
something young LL would do.
Dude was like 17 with a record deal though, so
He was 16.
or
Yeah.
16. Excuse me, 16. So I mean, he might have laughed at Hov.
Hey, I don't know. I always wanted to know if that was true or not.
Look,
But when it comes to being the bigger rap artist,
Yeah,
it's Jay-Z hands down.
I mean, I'm not about to argue with you on that. You're right. I'm just saying,
Still think it's Melly Mel.
Let me get you a Melly Mel shirt.
please get him a Melly Mel shirt,
gonna
man.
get him
Would
a-
you wear it long?
If only this says "rah" in a circle.
Yeah,
and
in
he's
this
gonna
whole
get-
circle.
and you're gonna get him a Melly Mel a weightlifting set.
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
Fisher Price.
Is that patented yet?
I don't know. We
Melly
might-
Mel
we-
weightlifting
we
shirt.
might
Did we
get
just
you out of
start something?
paperwork.
Get you a weight one of them belts. It's got Melly Mel's face on it.
Yeah.
when you're doing your squats and and all your bicep curls.
Yeah.
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 And then somebody look.
It's got to be a tank top though.
Somebody needs to go
Come
out
on,
here
Mo.
and get Melly Mel one of these these endorsements for a gym.
Now he will be a good spokesperson
Gym.
for that. That's facts. My
Join Melly
boy,
Mel
my
at
boy be
Gold's
getting
Gym.
it in the gym though. Be clear.
He wear G-Unit tank tops.
We were doing so well.
I'm just saying.
We were doing so well.
So I mean, I'm just trying to think. Who else could he be calling out?
Cole, Kendrick.
Cole, Kendrick,
Is Lil
maybe
Wayne-
Kanye.
Is
Maybe
Lil,
Kanye.
Lil Wayne a part
Y'all
of
see
any of this?
Kanye?
Lil Wayne-
Kanye is up to no good. Well, actually, he's up to some good. He been over there getting
No.
public fellatio.
No. With the no.
Lone's
I
face.
seen that. I was like, oh no.
Was it by his
awesome.
wife at least?
Yes, that's awesome, dude.
All right.
He said it's awesome. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
You seem
man.
excited about that. Man.
Praise God.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
But I just saw. I was like, wait a minute. I know that's not, sir.
What kind of sodomy is
Sir,
this?
what are you doing? Put your pants on, sir.
on a boat.
Barefoot.
They shouldn't have been snapping pictures. Yeah.
No, perhaps.
Well,
That's
man.
a good time, man.
I stay out of grown folks' business. Y'all know that's my motto. I stay out of grown folks' business. But yeah, I saw a couple of those photos floating around.
Never heard of it.
But yeah, he's not on tour either with LL.
They say new music is coming out
From who?
from Kanye.
Kanye's.
Yeah, I'm good.
Are you guys excited?
Yeah,
Man,
of
we'll
course.
see.
Super excited.
I'm done getting excited about Kanye because I just like to just wait now and see what it sounds like.
Did anybody notice that Drake didn't drop? Or am I
I don't
tripping?
think he was supposed to. That was
Okay.
just a rumor.
Okay, cool. Okay. Okay.
I didn't know he was supposed to. So
I saw people say I saw something where fans were mad that his record didn't drop, but
fans will be all
These
right.
fans, man. Have you ever seen the movie The Fan?
With Wesley Snipes
Yeah, Wesley Snipes and De
Robert
Niro.
De Niro. Yeah, that was actually a good little movie.
I thought you was gonna say Robert Townsend.
What makes
Why would you
thought
say
I was
that?
going to say that?
That's not who was in the movie.
Because he likes Robert Townsend.
Why would you not like Robert Townsend?
You see, he debates like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I wish I could do his voice, but I can't. All right, man. Shout out to the chat. If you stuck around, we appreciate you as always. Is there anything else you gentlemen would like to say before we ride out?
Nope, I've said enough.
Yeah, we've really said enough.
All right, newoldheads.com for all of the education that you need this year. Remember, if you see it, like it, subscribe to it, hit the bell for notifications. Check out our Patreon as well. We appreciate the support. Shout out to Chreece. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.